With our next and last speaker, Sirin Bayulgen. Sirin Bayulgen is an advertiser who is the founder of Fakulte Istanbul advertising agency. She worked at Movida Plus and at Alameti Farka as a senior account planner for 5 years. She founded Fakulte Istanbul in 2010, and it is a full advertising agency that has created and executed campaigns for leading brands including Turkish Airlines, Markafoni, University of Piri Reis, Converse, Columbia, Dogus Holding, and so forth. And now I'm inviting her to the stage.
Okay, well, we just watched a presentation on lying, so I have to keep my promise because this morning I was leaving the house and my baby girl Istanbul, she said that, you know, in one condition I could have leave from the door, and I said, what is it? And she said that you have to take Hafalov to wherever you go during the whole day. So this is why this is here, and it has to be videotaped, so I'm going to put it somewhere that you can get it from there, because he's going to kill me if not, you know. Okay, I think I need the clicker for my presentation. I know that everyone in this room is Turkish because thank you. Okay. I just observed you during the both coffee breaks, and everyone was speaking in Turkish except those three, I guess. So I find it sort of strange to speak in a foreign language while quite the majority of the audience is native Turkish speakers. You're not as well? Okay. Okay, good, at least it has a point. But, I mean, that's what we're told that we're supposed to do, so in that sense, what can I do sometimes, I think would be a good expression to use at this point. I'm imagining a bunch of cats trying to communicate with each other by barking, you know. I think at one point one of them would come out and say, what on earth are we trying to do, you know? And I find that a lot of advertisements today are suffering from the same incommunicado situation, sort of say, because when you watch the commercials on TV, sometimes you ask yourself, is someone trying to say something to me? You get the sense that they're speaking in another language, and that language, in a way, is kind of stopping you to understand them, and in a way also proves that they don't understand you. So nowadays, if you are somewhere surrounded by some people and doing some sort of thing, anything like eating or dancing or reading a book, sleeping, putting on your makeup, having a meeting, and so forth. So you have to take a picture or a video of that very act of yours, and you have to put it on your Instagram account or other social media platforms through which you manage your own perception, right? So in a way, you have to get your real life approved in the virtual world. And I think that this is one of the oxymorons of our daily lives. And this year I've been to the Arctic Monkeys concert, and I know that this means a lot for the women, but maybe not that much for the men in the room. So anlayamazsınız, I can say at this point. But there was this guy who was actually doing a 2-camera shooting right next to me, okay? So he was shooting the whole concert with his iPhone and his iPad mini at the same time, right next to me. And I think he was pretending that he was in a set, or, you know, as if he were kind of obliged to do this. But if I were Alex Turner, I swear I would have stopped the concert right in the middle and say, hey moron, what are you trying to do? Because this concert will be online in a week or so on YouTube, full HD, by the way. And instead of holding the hand of the pretty lady standing right next to you and singing the songs with her. You're putting so much effort on shooting my concert, you know? And I don't know, people are interesting, and there are a lot of interesting things going on around us nowadays. Like the other day, a friend of mine told me that she was in the need of going to a mountain as soon as possible. And I said, you know, why would someone be in the hurry of going to a mountain? And she responded me, and she said that she needed to balance her Instagram account. So please don't ask me what balancing an account means, because I did. And she said that her Instagram needed to encounter all sorts of landforms of the planet, meaning valleys and rivers and oceans and lakes and so forth. By the way, she didn't end up going to Mount Everest or something, you know. She went to Kaz Dağları, and I don't think that she found the picture that she needed there, but that's how much effort she's putting in this. And what's next in advertising is way a broad question, you know. It's as complicated as my friend's situation, because it's too broad to come up with a satisfying answer within only 18 minutes. But if you have a hypothesis like mine, I think it's quite easy to handle. What I believe is nothing will change, and nothing has changed, and nothing is changing. So, in other words, next is already here. Not only in our country, but also throughout the world, when you watch these kind of forecasting presentations, you either leave the room with a heart arrhythmia or a very strong abdominal pain in your stomach, because you get the feeling that you would never be able to cope with such a dynamically and fastly changing industry. So as students and as practitioners, you say to yourself, you know, this is something that I would never be able to deal with. Let me tell you this, the feeling you have after watching these kind of forecasting presentations is very similar to the feeling when you realize that summer has come and you still haven't been to the gym at all. You know what I mean, right? You get the feeling? Okay. And you can even recognize them from their very introductions. They usually start like this, with the internet, 24-hour television, mobile phones, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. The average person produces every day 6 newspapers worth of information compared to just 2.5 pages 25 years ago. And we create more information every 2 days than in the history of the planet before 2004. And I also remember back in 2010 in one of these presentations claiming that with Facebook's current growth rate at that time, it would have exceeded the world population by 2004. Did it? No. Because as we all remember, Mark announced 1.11 billion in March 2013. So there's always the possibility for these predictions to come out wrong. And there's also another fact that is as important, and that fact is none of these assumptions change the fundamentals of the advertising business. Yes, we know that more and more people are moving quickly and unpredictably between media tools and media environments. And yes, to attract consumer attention has become as hard as this. And yes, brands and agencies are rearranging their core components and their strategies in order to be able to thrive in this nonlinear, distracted media universe. But none of these assumptions realize that humans are humans, and they will always be humans. And for this particular reason, the chemicals of the advertising business will always remain the same. I think this would be an explanatory example. With faster internet connection and fiber internet, we used to spend like 10 hours to download a movie, let's say Godfather, you know, but now maybe we spend just 10 minutes to download it. But the way we watch it, the way we consume it, the way we get feelings about it, the way we love it or we hate it, or, you know, any other key sensation that we have remains the same. So the way we consume the content remains the same. When we look at the distribution of media expenditure, actually we see that the way people consume media hasn't changed that much as opposed to what they have been saying for a long time. When we look at TV and newspapers and magazines and all those conventional mediums that have been out there for a very long time, we see that there's still a very dramatic difference between conventional advertising and digital advertising. And when we go back to the days of Mad Men, to the golden days of advertising, and you guys know that it is compulsory to talk about Mad Men when you're giving a speech on advertising. But when you go back to those days and when you look at Ogilvy and Burnett and Acıman and all those very influential and legendary people for the sector, you see that everything was created in a very much similar way. You know, nothing has changed in the essence of the business. There are two poles in communication. One is the source, and the other one is the receiver. For instance, in this room, I'm the source because I'm the one who's giving you my ideas and communicating something with you, and you guys happen to be the receivers. So when you look at communication and advertising from the receiver's point of view, in terms of from your point of view, it wouldn't have made much difference if I presented it and I supported it with slides or video or any other communication tools, like any other audiovisual tools out there, because the message that I was giving you would be the same. And technically, when you look at television ads, it's not very much different from a pop-up banner or a YouTube ad, which we all, I guess, find extremely frustrating, because when we're exposed to these push-forward messages, the way we react is the same. The way we give feedback is the same. We try to get rid of these messages. We either change the channel, skip the ad, or close the window, and we try to get rid of it. So some people think that this tendency will change in the future. However, it won't, unless we manage to create good content. Good content means content worth consuming. And believe me, it's not rocket science. The best ads are the ads that tell the greatest stories, the most interesting and influential stories. And the ads that are the most successful ones are the ads that give feeling to people, okay? So, and plus, I believe that now we have a bonus, because if people really like an ad, they even share it with their families, their friends, their followers, and their networks. So in a way, we're more advantageous right now compared to the past. What is a good ad? A good ad is an ad that invites you in, that surprises you, that makes you laugh, that teaches you something, that maybe in a way disgusts you, annoys you, or gets on your nerves, but it is an ad that gives you feeling, you know. It's an ad that moves something in you. I think I'm going to fall because of this weird X thing right here. Okay, so the best ads are the ads that create interaction with us. Heraclitus said that the only constant is change. I don't like to give quotations in presentations a lot, but I think this one, it looks like it's been said specifically for advertising, because if something is changing constantly and endlessly, the only thing that doesn't change about it is change itself. I think I might sound too literary, but what I mean is that although every component of the business is constantly changing and evolving and shifting and turning into something else, the one thing that doesn't change about it is telling good stories. A good example of this is an ad that we created at my agency for Shop & Miles. Maybe some of you have seen it before. It's about a Turkish guy traveling the world and preparing this marriage proposal for his fiancée. And he goes to nearly 15 countries, and he tries to convince people to say one word in Turkish in front of the cameras. And the key element behind the success of this movie was that it was genuine, and it was different, and also it was real, because we actually went to those countries and we really tried to make people say a word in front of the cameras. So the reality point of it was very important for its success. And the second important point was men were jealous about this guy because he was handsome, he had the money to travel the world, and he spent like 3 or 4 months just to prepare this proposal for his fiancée. And the women on the other side were really interested in this guy. We got like emails and comments about this because they found that he was very romantic, and they found it very cute for this guy to actually allocate that much time and effort to do this. So the conflict between the men and the women helped this movie spread in a very incredible fast pace without any seating budget whatsoever. And it was liked a lot. So giving feelings is important in advertising and also in all sorts of content. Daft Punk has won a lot of Grammys this year, you know, and Random Access Memories was one of their most successful albums. And when you look at the reason behind the success is that the album is fresh and new and different. And although the group is a digital band, when you listen to the album, you get the sense that it was recorded maybe back in the 80s. It has this disco sound that differentiates, and it gives you a feeling, you know, it gives you this nostalgic feeling. It gives you a feeling as if, you know, you go back to the past, or, you know, you maybe memorize things that you lived before. And also the photographs, the most successful photographs who changed our visual history are the ones that give us feeling as soon as we see them. So everything and anything about content is very correlated to feelings and thoughts. And I want to share this shitty photograph with you because this is like my curse, you know, and I think it's my stalker because wherever I go, it's following me. When you Google my name, this is the one that comes out. It's been on gossip shows, it's been on newspapers, magazines, you know, everywhere and everywhere. And the thing about it is, here I'm very overweighted because I just gave birth at that time. And I, in a way, look like a desperate housewife. But what I believe is that it's been so successful as a photograph in its own genre because it gives you the feeling. It's so ugly that maybe in a way it makes you happy, you know, it's kind of weird. to explain, but that's what I think about it. And what I want you guys to remember from this day is not this photo, but what I just said. If you want to create something, this can either be a small text message or a video of your own or music or anything. If you want to create content, you should give feeling and put your heart in it. Thanks.